deny you. I can't deny, I can't deny you.
I need new flavor, reason to throw my game, not really why I came. Oh, do me a favor, pour me another glass, pour hearts that never last. Oh, take me, I'm a wild one, getting bored out looking for attention. I'm not looking to meet a friend, no. I've been looking for a lover instead, for someone I appreciate, and every pay cross my way. I love that I don't know your name, oh no, I never meant to misbehave. Something about you makes me crave, you really are a different taste. I love that I don't know your name. Sunrise is dancing up on the rooftop bar, don't really need to talk. I'm reading the silence, I think it's pretty clear, I'm always so sincere. Oh, take me, I'm a wild one, getting bored out looking for attention. I'm not looking to meet new friends, no. I've been looking for a lover instead, for someone I appreciate, and every pay cross my way. I love that I don't know your name, oh no, I never meant to misbehave. Something about you makes me crave, you really are a different taste. I love that I don't know your name.
Want to come out here up at my house? Yeah, you can see them budding now. Like.
My name is Moncon McGann. I work with Home Tree, a charity working to establish and conserve permanent native woodland in Ireland. And this is Ireland's oceanic temperate rainforest. This moss-clad tangle thicket of stunted, gnarled woodland is often rich in birch and oak, and can have ash, hazel, willow and alder also growing through it. Many of us have likely seen such places at the base of a valley or on a sloping Atlantic-facing hill. They are part of our natural landscape, but we've just never given them much thought. Beyond their ecological importance, which is almost unquantifiable in its breadth and extent, there's also a sociological and psychological importance to them for us as a society. The key is in our name, Gael. The term Irish is modern and English. It doesn't really represent who we are. We were Gaels. We still are. At one time we all spoke Gaeilge, the language of the Gaels. And Gael means forest people, or wild men. We come from the bush, from these wet, dank thickets of woodlands that once covered 3/4 of the island. It was in wet, mulchy woodlands, such as these temperate rainforests, that our ancestors first settled. They are our natural habitat, and over millennia we gradually developed our lives, our minds, our culture and society in them, around them and through them. Our relationship to this native woodland has been complex in the past, but it's vital that we reassess it now and begin as a matter of urgency to rejuvenate the remaining woodlands that still cling on in forgotten pockets across the island. We are fortunate to still have tracts of the indigenous rainforest that these trees developed in clinging on throughout the island. All of us should now be doing whatever we possibly can to safeguard them for the future, not only for ourselves, but for our descendants and the animals, insects, and future of life on this planet.
Bichon picks up, and they've got a short field. They've got another goal. It's tied up at 12. I cannot believe what I'm seeing
Can
here.
Lola Dam chase that one down? That is a score for Hartlinger Elferkel. Fantastic run by Julia Lutz.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge.
And we believe that requires knocking down the paywall.
We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch, and we want them to go viral.
When you become a member, you enable us to improve our working relationships with tournament organisers, events and federations.
And you'll help us to produce live stories for Ultimate fans, and to generate new fans with our enhanced content.
We are a group of Ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts, and we want to bring you coverage on a more consistent basis. We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Ciao ragazzi, support the community.
Let's subscribe ULTI.TV. There's lots of the videos, posting, everything. Check it out. They are the best one. Woo!
If you want to grow Ultimate Sports, become a member of ULTI.TV.
Regardez ULTI.TV.
Deviens un membre d'ULTI.TV et fais grandir ta communauté.
Top ULTI.TV. Dale eroginkime Ultimate vendromene. Si quieres ayudar a ULTI.TV, puedes ser miembro de ULTI.TV.
Everyone, follow ULTI.TV on Instagram, on YouTube. They've got everything.
Best content.
Like their pictures if you love Frisbee. Just do it.
We're counting on you.
Bli medlem på ULTI.TV.
Became member
of ULTI.TV.
Mamma mia.
Contribue au développement d'Ultimate avec ULTI.TV.
Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
We want to grow Ultimate.
we want to grow Ultimate. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We have our signature style 2-camera setup,
With thousands of hours of experience,
and our crew is globally dispersed to facilitate coverage everywhere around the world. We can also scale back our broadcast with just one elevated camera, or scale up with 2 fields, 2 cameras, and 2 commentators on each.
we work with local teams and we all have the same mission, to grow the sport and bring it to new people by providing live coverage and news stories.
Become a member today on our Patreon page.
And fund our work to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories, ideas and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
Lovely grab out.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everybody in between and all over the world. We have got a wonderful show for you here today in the beautiful Limerick afternoon on the wild west coast of Ireland, coming to you free on YouTube and ULTI.TV. I am Lorcan Murray, and I am joined for the first time in my experience, so this is very exciting for me as well, by the wonderful Charlotte Terrason. Charlotte, how are you feeling?
I'm so happy to get to commentate with you, Lorcan, on this Swiss game against Denmark. As a Swiss myself, I will try to be as objective as possible, but don't worry about this. The game is starting in front of us on these well-rested pitches after the rain.
You are in the booth with the man known as the most objective commentator in Ultimate today, so don't worry, I will give you all the lessons in how to not overtly cheer for your team. Nuins van der. As the Danes starting off on offense and looking to take their time. This game incredibly important to both these sides, as it is in the third power pool with a spot in the pre-quarters up for grabs. Both teams won their first game in the power pool. And you can see they're just taking their time, feeling each other out. And there's the shot deep, looking for the end zone, and the streaking form of Olivia Shen, but it just goes past her. The wind almost pushing that out of the way.
Quick shot we see here. Also, Anya Boliman trying to get a hand on it and didn't, but no worries for the Swiss. The defense was made, I mean, by dropping the disc, losing possession. But anyway, a turn is a turn, and we have already a break opportunity here for Switzerland.
Simon sends it into the middle of the pitch in the waiting arms of Heinzen. Heinzen to Binder, back to Heinzen. So they have the deep shot from Franken. He sends it, looking for the isolation. Franken's underneath it. Can she take it down? No. Great defensive presence from Denmark, able to recognize where the disc is going and react accordingly. As that pitter-patter of precipitation starts to make itself known. Excellent grab into the power position. Turns down the under. So the Danes working it up, and the wind slightly in their faces. So if you can get an upwind now, in case these conditions start to deteriorate on the pitch. Thuysen trying to get somebody free, but great shutdown defense on the dumps initially by the Swiss, but eventually getting free immediately as Carlson in front of him. Thuysen makes the move down the line, steps for the break, and goes back up the line. The poach off in the end zone works initially in two big bids. Leads to the disc turning over. Anderson had to get low, but he couldn't get there before Jakob Simon. So we have another look.
Yeah, we had a really good defense on the dump from Simone Franken.
And a hand block right in front of the end zone. Big time defensive pressure from the O-line. Excellent stuff out of Anders Thuysen. Thuysen is going to be huge on both sides of the disc, it seems. And there's the quick break and the offensive hold for Switzerland. Collected in the end by Line Christensen.
What a quick turn, not even one pass in front of their end zone, and Denmark retrieved possession for their score. They held their, oh my, look at this. Clean hand block from Anders Thuysen, and Denmark then scoring this point. This getting out of the hands of Anders Thuysen after his hand block directly to Line Christensen, who also had the defense previously on the big shot from Switzerland. She had the positioning, she had the good boxing out, managed to get a defense. Those two defense stats of Denmark, also the goal stats.
And Denmark, one of the few teams at this tournament not playing with dedicated offensive or defensive lines. It's a part of their philosophical approach to this tournament, as they're trying to have everybody play both sides of the disc, as they feel that's most beneficial if everyone can do everything. This is very much a symbol of how Danish Ultimate is trying to get back on its feet following COVID. As right now they take an early 1-0 lead, but it was just an offensive hold. Took a couple of turnovers for them to get there, and a big time hand block. So now can the Swiss be a little bit cleaner? I know from personal experience they've got plenty of action in the handler space and that give-go. Cedric van Uken is brilliant at the give-go style and so difficult to shut down. You see he's just going to be dishing that out across all of the pitch. Schemp near sideline. Eventually able to get it back to Van Uken. And Schemp and Van Uken working in that short space together against the Danish zone. There's the swing across. So when you're playing against these kind of zones, Charlotte, what do you like to see offenses do?
The offense, usually I like when the handlers are closer to each other and just keep that disc moving. Don't wait too far. Just go enter this cup to get the disc moving and win centimeters by centimeters if needed, but you always win a bit of distance forward and never getting backward. While when you stretch more, you have to go back more.
I do think the Danes are doing a good job of stopping those uprushing cuts and limiting how effectively the Swiss are able to make that kind of aggressive move through the zone. Nice little play by Van Uyen, and you know he's going to be so crucial. Schemp and Van Uyen. Murray getting involved as well. That is Hannah Murray, no relation. Schemp, here on the near sideline, Nieuwensvander. The Viking Platt, showing off his natural abilities as a mid. Van Uyen. Again, they're really struggling to get any significant downfield gains.
And Switzerland is showing patience, but the mistake is here, and that is exactly what Denmark was waiting for. A lot of passes, and the mistake will happen probably with this wind.
It's the danger of having to make teams take 100 passes. Death by 100 cuts, almost. As we can see the Danes immediately into their red zone offense. Müller resetting that back, and it's a quick recycling. Toftager Oster. And a big bid forces that disc too far around. I like the look for the break side, but fantastic defensive pressure on the part of Andren Hauser. So now the Swiss go again. They can't strike too quickly. Denmark have done a good job setting the zone. There's the throw through the middle. And the Swiss not forcing that throw to Murray, instead just resetting it back. Going to take their time. Schemp, Hausier and Van Uyen coming back to help along with Nieuwensvander. Van Uyen's actually going deep. He's just trying to creep and pointing for a big shot, leaving Schemp in the backfield alongside Hausier. Hausier and Schemp now doing the primary handling. Good fakes by Schemp to make sure that the cup can't settle in. Nieuwensvander, Hausier, and Van Uyen coming back to collect it. Goes to the big one all the way over the top. The deep from Denmark is there and shepherds that one into the ground. Ulrich Müller, great positioning.
These are difficult shots to take right now with the wind. It's very risky. And maybe out of patience, you might want to throw that one, because after like long waiting against this zone, you see that mistakes can happen, and maybe you're scared of that. You're like, oh no, I don't want to have thousands of throws because maybe the wind will carry it out of bounds or whatever, and you'd rather go for a shot that, if missed, okay, missed, but if not, might be a goal. That is a choice. I don't know what the coaches think about that.
Well, we'll have to ask them if we get the chances. Now Denmark coming back. The Swiss in a match defense, understandably. And there's a bobble on the end zone line, so a bit of huck and D going into the wind. You don't see it too often. Nieuwensvander picks it up right on the edge of the end zone. Hauser pops it in for the score.
And Nieuwensvander just giving and going and waiting for that last pass. He was left totally alone, saw it, recognized the poach, and just waited for his teammates to see him and catch that score.
Excellent lightning response by the Swiss. When you see it's just a little bit of a bobble, unfortunately. It happens to all of us. But Nieuwensvander was so quick in picking it up and working it down the pitch with Hauser.
That was a long point. It's only the first score for Switzerland, and I mean, it's 1-1. But this first possession took 31 passes. Just throwing between the handlers against this cup.
And ultimately, they didn't even get out of their own brick mark against the zone. The second time the zone went on, they got a little bit further, but turned again, trying to get a little bit ambitious on the far sideline with that shot around the edges to the deep space. Nieuwensvander, 28 years old, played with Scorillas, Panthers Bern, and Fab, so some pretty well-known clubs out of the Swiss region. He also played on the under-24 Open team before.
He's also one of the founders of the Scorillas club. It was a pretty young club in Bern region, and him and other friends founded that club. Really fun people.
And let's see if they can bring that energy. Like we said, both these teams opening up with 3 pretty significant losses apiece, and that can really have an impact on your emotional state. But they both bounce back with big-time wins in their most recent games. For the Swiss, that was 15-11 against Hungary. And for Denmark, that was 15-11 against Norway. Those both wins coming in the final power pool, where only the top 2 get to go through to pre-quarters.
So
that's what's at stake for these two teams. Realistically, you lose this game, you're not going to make pre-quarters.
At all, no redemption.
There's an opportunity, but it would require you to beat the current pool leaders, which is easier said than done. The pool leaders right now being Belgium.
So ladies and gentlemen and others, we have here a very important game for both teams if they want to reach pre-quarters and stay in the championship bracket.
Toyerson centers that back into the middle, and the comfortable hands of Monday. Monday and Toyerson again on the far sideline, back to Monday. Monday thinks about the center, but waits until it's a little bit safer. Reiner Holm through the middle to Carlsen. Something the Danish are really focused on is playing true mixed ultimate, cycling through all of their players and bringing to bear every inch of weaponry they have in their arsenal. Toyerson. Monday gets the swing back to Kramer. So now with the Swiss zone, doing exactly what the Danish zone did before.
Great pressure. This worked out. Just another mistake you're waiting for.
So the short field turnover. Can the Swiss take advantage? Break opportunity for them.
Is this going to be the first break of this game?
Beans picks it up. Doesn't like his first look. Doesn't like his second. Stall count's getting high. He's going to have to do something. This is great work on the mark. But a brilliant break around into the middle of the pitch. And Bailetas. And there's the shot. Looking for the end zone. Trying to find somebody. Waiting underneath and collected for the break. Fantastic stuff. Minder with the score.
Indeed, and that somebody was Patrick Minder, the big body in the end zone. You love having these players on your team. You can just throw those floaty hugs, being lazy on your throw. You know that big body is there to catch it with a jump if needed. But let's have a replay. Look at this soon to come shot. Yeah.
Heinzen. Like you say, just floating that one up for the collection. But that's a lot of trust in Patrick Minder.
I mean, Swiss Mix had already 2 tournaments to get used to play with each other and build this connection and this trust you're talking about. I think they played at Talampaya, a Swiss tournament in Geneva, and also Windmill, where they went for a second preparation, a bit more serious. I mean, Talampaya is serious, but more teams present, more national teams as well, more experience for EUC.
I actually played against the Swiss national team at Windmill when I was playing for Eurotrash. So a nice little shout out to all my trashy friends around the world. It was a fun game, a good team, and something that really stood out to me when we were playing against them was the give-go ability of their handlers and their handler core. So it's nice to see them with a bit more depth going for a longer shot in that instance. So the Danes, can they respond quickly? Toftiger Oster with a nice give go into power position, wasting no time, launching it deep. That throw is sitting nicely, but big defensive play. Excellent stuff from Simon Vranken.
Great defense from Vranken. I gotta say, if I was targeting Hele Rovang, the receiver, attempted receiver, I would go for a straighter, faster shot because she's savage on layouts. She can provide you the beautiful layouts you need in this case.
Well, now the Swiss looking to push their advantage and get another break. Is it within their reach? Beans working well through the center of the pitch. We see Jakob Simon with a blade, and getting low to make that grab is Pascal Beans. Not forcing too much stuff. Nijnsvander shoots for the front corner and collected Really great stuff from the Swiss, turning up the pressure. Yael Grob with the catch.
And this is another break. We have our first break. This is the second break. My bad. Second break for Switzerland, leading 3-1 on this early stage of the game. What a start. They want to go to pre-quarters. I mean, their coach was telling us it is their goal of the championship is at least to reach the pre-quarters, and then let's see for the rest. I like this vision of you want to aim for results, but don't go straight away like for the best. You go with the championship, you see how things are going. You never know how a week can be, how your players are going to respond to your coaching, to the weather, to the place, to the food, to every factor is possible. So it is good to say, okay, we have the level, obviously, to go to pre-quarters. Let's aim for that. And then once we reach it, we will see for the rest. You have time in the evening to talk with the team, to process everything that's happening, and set new goals later in the week. I like this approach personally.
Well, there's 1,000 variable factors that influence how you do at the tournament, and realistically, the only one that you can control is your own attitude towards them. So by having those conversations and keeping that right mindset, it helps to keep the attitude across your team for each individual player in quite a positive place, which again is difficult to do when you're taking a series of significant losses early on to some more developed teams. But right now, in a pretty even matchup, the Swiss have stolen an early lead. This is a 3-point run for them, by the way. And 2 clean defensive holds following the turnover. And that one was technically upwind, though there isn't too much wind right now. So how can the Danes respond? Once again, going against this zone. We haven't seen too much success of people beating the zone. It's been a lot of short field turnovers that are then punched in. So now we're really seeing a test of the Danes' offensive capabilities, their patience. Christensen playing in that backfield. Anderson as well. Back to Christensen. And all the way across to the opposite sideline. Back into Christensen. Has Anderson for the swing. Hits him. Thought about it for a little while. Monday and Anderson. Monday rocking the bandana. A rare ultimate accessory.
Ooh.
Fantastic layout grab by Clara Carlson. Saves possession for her team. Back to Anderson and Christensen. And Carlson kind of trying to sit in that cup like you were talking about, Charlotte. You can get the throw to her and then you can throw through the rest of it. And another big time layout. Clara Carlson just about able to get this catch. They are making her work in the middle of the pitch right now. Christensen, Monday back across. Carlson, Christensen. Not able to get the continuation downfield. Big break all the way through the cup. And that was a fantastic throw. Visionary to see Olivia Shen on the far sideline. So Christensen showing off how lethal she can be with that disc in hand and rescues that one from her own malpractice, it seems. Anderson back to Christensen. Christensen has had, at this point I would hazard a guess, at about 20 touches on this possession, and they're still barely past their own brick mark. Christensen to Anderson. Anderson has Carlson nearby, goes through the break through the middle, is able to get it there or thereabouts to Thuysen. Now back to Christensen. I would like to have seen Thuysen throw it further downfield, but it doesn't need it when Kristen keeps finding Shen for these big gainers on either sideline. Christensen and Shen proving a brilliant combination. There's the offhand backhand break for the score. Brilliant throw and well taken in by Anna Nissen.
What a way to work the disc to the end zone against that zone defense. I'm wondering if they had even more passes than the Swiss offense earlier in this game against the zone. I mean, that was a lot of pass, a lot of patience, and reinforcing no throws, no 50-50 shots. What a beautiful work from Denmark. 46 passes. Oh my. They kept the disc for 46 passes to the end zone for a clean hold.
And what was strange was it was big shots straight through the cup. Twice from Christensen to Shen on either side of the pitch. As we have another look, that was a huge shot from Christensen. And then they just take their time, reset it back to Thuysen, and then just a little bit of styling and or profiling. That's
I mean, that lefty. Oh, wow. That is gorgeous. I mean, fancy, but just enough to make things work, to be stylish, but not too risky, you know. I really like this balance.
So the first flawless offensive hold for either team, and it comes at the end of 46 passes and a couple of layouts as well.
Oh, yeah, Clara Carlson with that layout save. Whew.
She had 2. And oh, that's great defensive pressure. Van Uyken forced to put up a big, high, floaty one. Works out in the end. There's the centre to Murray. So the Danes have switched to a match defense. Big coming through. There's going to be some calls on the contact, but Rika Louise Kjær Knudsen.
Player we also know, familiar face, since she plays also with Yaka for the club season. So you've seen her a lot on the streamings, on other competitions as well. Danish import.
What did you think about that foul call, Charlotte, as Kecklin thinking it was just a bit too much contact from Kjær?
They look to be contact, but actually our perspective is pretty bad, I think. From this side, I don't see pretty well how the contact was initiated, how it happened, because there's always a bit of bumping, shoulder to shoulder, you know, but you never know how the players agreed earlier on the game for this contact. You know, there's always agreement. Oh, we have another look.
We've got signal down on our monitor.
So we're back. And apparently the disc is going back to Switzerland, so contested foul.
I think that's fair. Like you say, it's the early exchanges of the game. They're still kind of working out what level of physicality they're comfortable with. As Murray shoots all the way across. And I almost think there
was also a peak called. That is why people are stopping, because apparently the Danish player Robert Biro is totally okay with this contact. And Neuenschwander really stepping up to get the disc. And no, there's...
You can see that Neuenschwander was not the intended recipient of that particular pass, but fantastic heads-up play to recognize it's going past 2 of my teammates, and I need to cut back under before Biro realizes that there's an opportunity for a D. So that's the kind of plays you need to make in these conditions.
But I think there was also a peak call on the field, and the disc is going back because it did affect the outcome of this pass.
So Hannah Murray, quick offhander to Van Uyen, and back to Murray. Murray's already shown off some throwing prowess, but taking the open under, and it was never open to begin with. Brilliant layout block. The Danes putting it all on the line.
Didn't I tell you Hele's here for the layouts? Look at her, just prove me right. Thank you, Hele. What a sick layout defense. So, ladies and gentlemen, Hele Roervang, sorry for your name.
There's the pop over the top looking for Roervang, and overshooting the end zone in the end.
But it is a score! Number 26, Tobias Jensen here to save the day for Denmark. Oh my, passing by 2 receivers, the third one is a charm. Like, how do you say in English?
That was it, yeah, no, that was it perfectly, Charlotte. Incredible stuff. Wow. You know idioms in English, and I can barely count in French. But that one counts for the Danes, there or thereabouts. So we've seen plenty of examples of how you need to keep your head up and ready to respond to these overthrows and clean up for your teammates. Great showing of the way they work together, and they've tied this game back up at 3s.
I love how Tobias Jensen just surprised us all by popping out of nowhere to save that disc. I mean, you are already deceived, like this is a missed shot. I was also getting ready for the turnover, and no, Tobias had other plans in mind. Look at this, coming out of nowhere, and inbounds really working on this feet dance to stay in bounds.
So Hel Roervang getting the double happiness, technically, as right now the game is tied up at 3 apiece here in this crucial power pools matchup. And we are back as we watch the pole fly out of the hands of the Danes. And up on the top of the hill, a couple of Swiss supporters trying to cheer their team on. The wind rising, so the Swiss, you got to say, in the driver's seat right now. Van Ooyen disc in hand. Goes with the under to Murray. And Murray isn't afraid to shoot if the opportunity arises. So's that disc. It might not come back down, though. And the attempted greatest. I got a lot of respect for the move from House here, but it's going to be a foul called.
Foul called on the throw?
It'd need to be on the throw.
No, maybe foul called on the greeters, you know. I was supposed to do the greeters. Why was your body on the way? I like the greeters look. Maybe later on the game we'll get one.
I've seen a good few attempts. It's certainly the conditions for them. The call has been retracted and there is a turnover. So, while we wait for play to resume, do you have an update from the rest of the fields for us, Charlotte?
Well, we have some interesting game going on, and game France-Poland. Poland is leading 5-2. Austria is leading over Slovakia on our other streaming 2-0. If you want to watch the game, just stream tune in on the other channel.
And Murray steaming through and knocking that one away. Van Ooyen picks it up and decides not to immediately send it to Murray. I disagree, but I'm also not of an international caliber. So they're taking the more patient approach. Neuenschwander can't get free. They go back to Van Ooyen instead. House here receives. The wind really starting to whip up, but kind of into our faces, almost from the far sideline to the near. So not quite as defined an upwind as it has been before. That was a brave flick to throw into those conditions. Burzio. Van Ooyen is in the front of the end zone, not wanting to force anything. Goes front corner and collected for the hold.
And one hold for Switzerland. What a beautiful defense from Murray on to retrieve the disc for that score after losing possession. I mean, she is a machine. She was saying like she takes ultimate a bit slower now. She has a kid and all, and she's 38. Would you imagine that, seeing her run on the field? This is crazy. I've coached her with the Wicked, playing the Geneva's team, playing the Swiss Championship, and girl, she is crazy good. So much energy, so powerful. There were only 10 players on the team for both weekends, and she was playing like important games. She would play almost all the points and still have power for such defenses. So I'm absolutely not surprised to see her do that. But ladies and gentlemen, enjoy it because she is a showgirl.
And we're giving you quite the show today. So 4-3 in this crucial power pool matchup, and that's a big offensive hold for the Swiss. They started the game on defense. So if they can carry this lead into half, they get that free offensive point to start it off with. So Denmark playing against a match zone. Match mark, I should say. not looking to force too much too early. Kjær. Backhand over the top. And those high release backhands really sit nicely in this wind if you can get enough snap onto them to trust them. Petersen. Back into the middle. Danes doing a good job of clearing some space. Huge layout once again. Hell Rorvang.
Told ya.
And maybe one layout too many on that instance.
Just let her time to take her breath, catch up her breath, and she'll be back.
Carlson coming on to replace her. Then I believe we can see Simone Vranken coming off for the Swiss to be replaced by Sarah Valerio. So Carlson's going to be picking it up. Rolvang securing possession and then calling injury is a pretty impressive move to be able to make.
Always impressed because you have to get up and act all normal and then realize, oof, actually something's wrong.
I'd just like to point out that Patrick Minder seems to have recovered to a position I don't think he should be in, because when that injury was called, he was going for a poach block and was the reason Rorvang had to lay out in the first place. He should not be in that defensible position. But the game restarts. The Danes go again, looking to match the hold, trying to throw downfield in some challenging conditions. Not forcing too much for now. And there's the break around, collected just outside the end zone by Carlson. Doesn't like the initial pop in, takes the throw back instead to Tofdager Ogre. Tofdager Oster. Carlson clears out, he's gonna need to get a backhand break, and he does, to the form of Kjær for the score, 4-4.
What a release. That was a way to get free of the mark. I don't know if he bumped into him or what. In any case, they're okay with the amount of contact, so good for them. Nice release, straight to the end of Rike Louis Kjær Knudsen. Sorry for, how would you say, for destroying your names? I'm trying my best, but great work, Rike. And this release from number 16 as well, Jonas Ulrich, Tofdager Oster. Look at this fast release, bit air bounced, just what it takes with that wind. So yes, we do have some wind. I see comments asking for the weather, and I mean, lucky to have sunny weather. It's not raining, so we're lucky.
Don't say that word out loud.
Oh, they might hear me.
The gods.
And I got
They
a
are fickle.
Again? But no, the wind is like picking up every now and then, but pretty strongly.
I'd say blustery. I would hazard a guess around 15 kilometers an hour coming from the back left corner. Yeah, let me just lick my fingers there. Yes, 16.5 kilometers an hour, I believe, from the back left corner in a diagonal pattern across the pitch almost. So not quite as complete an upwind downwind as we've seen in the past.
Plus minus 0.5 degrees.
Shemp down the line. Collected well by Kelkin. Kelkin sends it down the line herself, just about able to find Nurenschwander. Van Uyen centers it into the middle. Hauser directing traffic with his eyes, telling them where he wants them to go. Shemp collects it on the open side. I thought she was going to put that, if I'm honest. Van Uyen, nice stutter step, stop to get it on the break. A delicate pass as well, not the easiest to throw. Sends it back to Hauser. Hauser keeps the swing across the opposite side to Shemp. So the Swiss getting more comfortable, it seems, with each pass. Hauser goes back to Van Uyen. And he tries to find Hauser with the arcing pass over the top. It skips over the Danish defender, and Hauser collects.
Oh, wow. I thought that one will get defended, but apparently just high enough to avoid the defense. How frustrating for defense when this happens. But really good job from offense. What a put for Switzerland to score their 5th goal, 5-4. Teams are trading, but not trading with clean holds. We had defenses breaks 2 on the Swiss side for 1 on the Danish side, who started this half on offense. Let's have another look at this beautiful shot.
Look how close Rasmus Thoresen came to getting that touch. I thought he was going to get the block as well. It was a nice reset. So it's Hauser resetting effectively to Van Uyken. And a great throw back with just enough height to skip it over the outstretched fingertips of Thoresen. 5-4, another flawless offensive hold. This time it's the first for the Swiss. They're 5-4 up.
Ooh, we got double content. Best content is double content. And ultimate, obviously, that is why we're here at EUC 2023. I'm so excited. I love championships and ultimate and everything about ultimate.
I'm with you on that one. Toftager Oster centers it. And Biro tries to shoot, and as it bobbles, pops, and is eventually knocked to the ground. I suppose that block will be attributed to Pascal Beans. Although a few people can make a claim to it. So the Swiss have a chance to get another break and extend their lead. Simon just about able to get that pop off to Heinzen. Heinzen back to Simon. A lot of space in front, and it's quickly occupied. Nice use of the break side swing, following that hard cut to the open side. So the Danes really trying to put pressure and force the flicks. Assuming the Swiss aren't as confident throwing those into the wind. Stumble but collected. That's heart, that's hunger. Balaites scoops it down the line. Collected by Beans. Beans eventually able to get it to Heinzen. Heinzen had to put a lot of work in to get free on the dump side. You can see he seems to want to favor the backhand leading pass. So I like the force, trying to make him throw a flick, and there's going to be an uncontested contact.
Trying too much, I guess.
So Toftager Oster gives a free 10 right back to Heinzen. Heinzen gets it to Simon. Goes for the shot. Big bids from the Danes coming from everywhere, but Franken's able to hold on. Pops it back to Grob. Grob says no to that initial up the line. Got to be so precise going for those windows, and big bids, but nothing.
Wow.
No one's able to collect the disc, but it was enough dissuasion to stop Balaites from collecting it himself for the score.
So many flying Danish players. They all threw their bodies all over the end zone to avoid that score. And job is done. Another layout injury, however, but Switzerland didn't score that one, so Danish did their mission, accomplished their mission. And good to see, as I told you, give just a second to Hele to be back on the pitch, and she was already laying out again. I think she's totally fine.
So there's the touch, and they carry on. That might have been Müller who had to come off injured. Thoresen coming on for him, and immediately getting the disc. Van Uyken also came on. That was a risky pass into the center of the pitch, required the low grab. Both these teams not afraid to get dirty. Leading pass into a power position. Thoresen has 2 assists already in this game. Centers it, and quick swings. So Danes looking for options. None becoming immediately available, but good work on this break side with those lower release backhands. There's a lovely flick straight down the break side line. Roorvang, whose jersey looking more brown than white at this point. They center it back. Toftager Oster. This is the Toil. Again, just waiting for some cuts in that end zone, and they're not coming. Just letting the handlers weave in, about, and around, and another big bid. And there's Thoresen getting low, but not getting the disc.
I mean, you know the outcome of this. Big call, this is not caught. It should be a turnover. We keep repeating it all the time. Catch the disc when a pick is called. because otherwise it is a turnover. Unfortunately, sometimes it's a bit frustrating because you kind of stop because of the call and all. The thing is, don't stop. Just don't stop, and then we will see what happens. But better not stopping, exactly, because now it is a turnover. I mean, he didn't stop. Anders Tussen fought till the end to try to save that very low disc.
And that was it. Those two players never stopped. They kept playing as if nothing had been called, and ultimately it was a throwing error. And there's a huge bid! Incredible stuff from Toftegar Oster. He needed to get that one back. It was his throwaway. Took that responsibility on. Getting horizontal.
Oh, wow, what a big pressure. I love the intensity they put on this pitch.
Both teams really showing how badly they want this. Roervang goes back to Toyson. Toyson drops his mark to the floor. Van Uken doing a little bit of a death drop. There's the shot to the center and collected. Nicely done. Double happiness in the end for Toftegar Oster.
Little dense move to keep the feet in bounds. I thought it was not in yet, but apparently it is. Good for them. One less pass is one less risk of losing the disc. And this is a hold for Denmark. A lot happened during this point. I almost forgot who was on offense, who was on defense. But it was indeed the Danish who needed 2 turnovers before being able to score their offense. However, what a way to retrieve the disc. That layout was fabulous.
And then getting rewarded for it with the catch, and immediately called in by a few different Swiss players. So we're going to have another look at the winning score. That is a narrow window and a great grab by Toftegar.
We really like this drone footage, drone footage, who allows us to see these windows with another point of view. And we, as you said, we can see that it was a really narrow one, which on the sideline is not might not be so obvious.
Again, you see Anders Toyson coming out for this point. He has 3 assists so far. Playing a D-line point now, going upwind, so they need his throwing prowess, but showing you the Danes don't have dedicated offensive and defensive lines. They mix it up so they can have everybody show their skills across the pitch. Neuensvander to Murray. The Danes going with an upwind zone. Immediately forcing some tough catches from the Swiss. Neuensvander, Murray. Back to Hauser. Hauser and Neuensvander. I like that almost circle back cut, and then the throw over the top, that backhand sitting nicely in the wind. Hauser. Neuensvander. Says no to the swing to the center to Murray. Wants her to rush up and attack the cup more physically. You can force the double team to step back. Very nicely done. House here. Neuensvander found some space on that sideline just by waiting there. That's certainly my favorite way to get free. And to Murray, nice little throw straight through and offers a couple of continuations down field. Fellman back to Murray. Murray scoops it across to House here. House here to Neuensvander. He catches it just outside with a one-handed clutch and pops it in to Hauser for the score.
Cool move on the Swiss side, really making that flow. Whatever the wind is, they just keep it moving back and forth on one side or the other. Great control of this disc, of the wind affecting it. That was a very nice hold, clean hold for Switzerland, who are still keeping their advantage with these 2 breaks.
Really tore apart that zone effectively. If I was the Danes, I'm not sure I'd want to throw that out again, certainly going on that direction of the pitch. They just kept swinging it between their handlers, cycling a couple players in and out throughout the process. That's probably the closest they came to turning it over, and it was a great throw from Murray. But a really good job, especially by Nunch van der, staying on that far sideline and continually finding those little pockets of space.
Just staying where the spot is. And we have the Swiss cheering for their teammates. The women and open team over with their own game. By the way, what happened for their game? I know that Swiss Open lost against Belgium. Again, that was their second time meeting each other so early in the competition. While for the women, let's find the results. Anyone knows, let us know in the comments. 15-13 for Germany. Tight game, like really good game.
And no call on that, so it's an immediate turnover, and the Swiss have an opportunity to get another break and really extend their lead significantly. So here come the Swiss. A bit more of a dedicated D-line on this one. So we have another look at this immediate turnover. Is it a hand block? Certainly looks like somebody got a piece of that. Big shot straight away into the wind. Elements be damned! Fantastic grab in the end zone by Patrick Minder.
Oh my, wow. I hope we get a replay on this one because I missed it trying to look through the tent. Oh, please give me a replay. I want to see this. Lord can explain me how amazing that was.
I don't know if I can explain how fantastic that throw is. It's certainly not the kind of thing I expect. The wind raising up to probably its most ferocious. I would say near 22.2 miles per hour right now. Or sorry, kilometers per hour. This is the European Championships. We are in Ireland, proud European state. As the fans starting to gather on the hill. I mean, when it's sunny, there's no place more pretty in the world.
Than Switzerland?
Got too
I
many
totally
mountains.
agreed with you, Larkin. Switzerland is gorgeous. Just go there. It's like, as a lot of people say, it's a real life postcard.
It is a truly sensational country.
Oh, we have the replay. So if you missed it like me, look at this. Proper catch. Oh my. Just above the defender, eating on his head, as we say.
I just want to make sure we give proper credit to Sebastian Heinzen. That is not a throw many people at this tournament can put up. And yes, okay, when you have someone like Minder in the end zone, a lot of people are going to try and put it up. That is a big man with some clamps at the ends of his wrists. But fantastic throw by Sebastian Heinzen to just put it in contention in any realistic way. Big upwind break, 7-5, and now the Swiss looking for another one. Could they get a 3-point run for the second time this half? We will see. The Danes responded very well last time, and they have played through this zone before. There's the center. And they're going to rely a lot on that woman, Christensen. It was her breaks through to Shen that really tore apart the Swiss zone last time. Those throws are going to be harder in these conditions. And lots of pressure, understandably. Thuysen calling the double team. And a nice little scoop pass into the waiting hands of Nissen. And Nissen sends it down. They try to lead it to the end zone, but they floated up there for a bit too long. Which way is it going to go? Oh! And there was nothing neutral about that. Bertio with the block.
Hey, Switzerland is not neutral anymore, so we can go for contact as well now.
And there was a little bit of body to body. To give a shout out to famous Irish woman Samantha Mumba. And I don't think that was how Holm thought that would be released. Rainer Holm sitting into it and floating it up a bit too much. And let's get that lovely drone shot for a review. What do you think happened here?
I think the defense had it first, but they couldn't avoid the contact. They had to jump on the opponent to get that disc. I don't think it's a clean one.
I would disagree, because I think the offensive player couldn't have got it either without making contact. So at that point, it's offsetting fouls, the turnover stands. Like if the offensive player makes that catch, they initiate contact with each other because of the nature of the disc, right? Nobody has right of way at this moment. That's where he loses right of way because he has to turn. He's jumping backwards. So
that is a good point, that he's jumping backward actually. Yeah, and so Thorgersen Torgensen jumping backward, and Burcio, I'm sorry, Burcio, for your name, Stefano, like attacking, keeping his motion.
But
you have a
Burcio
point.
doesn't change his line.
Yeah, you've got a point, Larkin. I give you that one.
Could somebody clip that audio and so I can keep that and play it to people? This is, you can clearly tell you've never worked with me before because no one else makes the mistake of giving me that concession. So it's going to go back to Rainer Holm. And he's going to get another look at it. And everybody's going to have to take a little bit of time to try and remember where they were when the foul occurred.
I mean, that was a big shot.
Rainer Holm's like, yeah, but this is where I was standing. He goes, yeah, after you'd thrown it, you didn't have the disc. You got to go back to where you threw it from. Everybody else has to go back to where they were when the foul occurred.
Oh, we got a hugging love cam.
Right now, the Danes trying to find that team love that they've been building since April, so they haven't had the longest time together. Thurston goes down the line looking for Rainer Holm and finding him on the up line, cut for the score, 7-6.
Yeah, and he's been there so close to get a hand on the disc. He maybe was a bit unsure about the layouts to get it, but Holm with the disc in his hand. Denmark gets the score, and it is not yet that Switzerland will take the half because they are only 1 point away from half. So let's see if now is their time with a hold on their offense, or is the Danish D-line gonna step up and give a hard time to Switzerland and manage to get another break on their scoreboard? Maybe, maybe not.
Well, we have another look here at that handler movement that helped them get the score. Rainer Holm barely took a second to rest before going straight up the line and collecting on the score. I gotta tell you, I think the Danes get the break. What do you think?
I would bet on at least one turnover. But
and look at the way, I just want to take a second to talk about how Rainer Holm turned his defender around. And I've said this before, always attack the back of your defender, because that means they have to either turn their head to find out where you've gone or turn their body. And both of those are concessions that can be deadly when you're dealing in the short field space in front of the end zone. Brilliant work by Rainer Holm on that cut to spin his defender around and leave him in his dust. So now the Swiss with the chance for an offensive hold. They had 2 clean offensive holds on their last 2 times of asking. Haven't given up a break in about half an hour, 40 minutes, so.
And so I still think that Switzerland will get their hold, but maybe with some turnovers.
Okay, interesting. Interesting call. I like it. Van Uygen. Back to Murray. Neuensvander. Just that holding the disc out and waiting for the pop. It's so dangerous. If you're active in the mark, you can jump in there and get a little tap away. We've seen it happen a few times already this week. And Neuensvander throws one right in front of Murray, a bit lackadaisical. The Danes with the short field, can they punch it in? Who's going to be walking to it? Understandably, Toftiger, Oster. Toftiger, he's been crucial for them so far. There's the clear, there's the break. He loves those backhand breaks, but the wind doesn't care for it and pushes it into the ground.
I love the move, but yeah, with this wind, it's almost impossible. And oh my gosh, what is launched?
Van Uygen throwing that one up there. It was always dropping. There's going to be a foul called on House here. I don't love that foul call either, if I'm honest. Let's have a look at the replay and see, does he have position? So you can see that Toftiger is like keeping his hand in front.
I mean, I would say that it's not a foul because they were both running in one direction, and the Swiss offense had to cut that run, like I don't know how to say, change direction to have a beat on the disc while the defender could just stay in his lane. So I don't think this is a foul from defense, because just the position was not good, and the throw was also getting smashed to the ground, like so hard to get a hand on it. And apparently they do agree.
And that's why we discuss things and why we love this sport and its self-officiated nature. Quick pop down the line, and Toftiger immediately calling a turnover. You could see how Sierra's kind of looking like, was that do you think that was a strip? He's like, nah, turnover, man. So showing the spirit.
Yeah, I like it.
Noinch van der. You might just be right here. That's 2 turns apiece. He goes for the break. That's a huge layout. Incredible scenes. As both these teams putting it all on the line. Kjær with the big layout burns deep, and there is a timeout called, understandably, by Toftiger, because right now there's just turnovers flying all over the place. So they call a timeout, and they are going to reassess before trying to get this break and push it to a galaxy point, as the score currently stands 6-7 to Switzerland. Welcome back, everybody, to what has been a scintillating showdown between Switzerland and Denmark, as these two teams are battling it out. Denmark did start the half on offense, and that's important to keep in mind, as they are currently trying to get a break to tie it back up at 7s. So the Swiss were hoping to punch it in, but a fantastic layout by Kjær has earned Denmark the disc back just before we took that break. So now, can they recycle it around quickly and get the action going? Another huge layout! They are asking so much of Kjær, and the hand goes out. That looks like it might have hurt. Even Kelkin is the first to embrace her. So that disc, a little bit of disservice, as it was coming on the inside shoulder, and Kjær had to make a big bid. Absolutely no malice in Madeleine Keklin's play.
What a layout fight. Uncontested foul. Great beat from both players on that disc. Too short, like in the back of Rike.
So it goes back. And that was a quick discussion, so I assume uncontested. And here come the Danes, trying to play it quickly down the line, looking for something, anything at all. Biro has the down the line cut, feeds it. Ostiger, he's been so central to the offensive flow of the Danes all game long.
Sliding to the offensive feet.
I think that's the second time.
That's the intensity it takes to stop Tough Tigers, Oster's break backhand arounds. I mean, I understand as this player, you really gotta give it all.
Toftiger Oster's backhand breaks haven't been fully firing so far today, but when they're on, they are hard to stop. So just stop him getting the disc instead. That's a good policy. Van Uygen.
If you block the disc, then you don't need to mark. I mean, this logic.
That's 5D ultimate right there. Brilliant. Those go-go gadget arms of Van Uygen. But they have to now get back into play. There's a poach downfield. Murray takes off. screaming. Nobody's marking her right now. No one seems to notice on the Swiss side. And the Danes get away with that blown coverage. Van Oyken, the inside scoop to Murray directly in front of us. Thought was going to send it to Hauser, but a nice switch pickup by the Danish defense. And Murray's able to unlock it anyway with that inside pass to Van Oyken. Van Oyken tries to send it down, but that's always going to be a tough grab, even for someone like Kecklin.
I mean, this was very wobbly with the wind picking it up, and
huge shot immediately downfield. The Danes want it all, and they want it now. But that hits dirt. Lots of turnovers on this point.
Told you there will be at least one turnover, didn't I?
I said at least one. I think we're up to like 7 now.
But these are one of the really hard mental shots that the disc is way too far of reach, as you see. But with the wind, you never know. I saw like the wind was smashing it down, but all of a sudden picking it up again. And so you just have to keep running until it touches the ground, because you never know how long it's going to float. You always have a chance with this kind of wind. And we have another timeout.
An interesting decision. What do you make of that? 2 timeouts, 1 for each team in this point.
I mean, it's almost half. They have time to, like, they still have timeouts. You know that timeouts are spread among halves. So if you still have one, as the Swiss do, and they just need to score 1 more point to take halftime, why not use your timeout now? That's kind of logic.
That's a great point. You don't want to leave them on the table. And if you want to bring something out into these conditions to help you get great throws off, well then you need Eurodisc, organic discs for the best flight in windy conditions, made in Germany, but now also producing discs in the US and Australia. Eurodisc going international. And of course, what are you going to wear if you're chasing down those discs? I mean, you want the best equipment possible. And Tokay, play like you're not wearing cleats. Tokay, the only cleats that are made specifically for Ultimate. Find them everywhere that you find Ultimate.
So we have some replays on the best action of the game so far. This crazy layout beat by Hele Rovang earlier. And other Danish players always flying around with crazy layouts. I love seeing this. So many layout defense from Danish.
I really thought that layout block was going to be the move that powered them to get the score. Here we see the incredible bid by Kjær, as well as Kelklin trying to fight for that disc. That one wound up going back, I believe, on a foul call. Here's another look at it. This one provided by our drone. So acrobatic offenses and defensive plays on display right now.
That is exactly what we're expecting when having a stream game, a lot of show. Thank you, both of your teams, Switzerland and Denmark, for providing us exactly what we want, what the fans want. Great show and great plays with that wind.
And the disc brought back in. So the Swiss in a dangerous position on that front corner, trying to find some way out of it. Hauser, Nuenschwader, doesn't want Van Oyken. Now hits Van Oyken, gets it back. You're going to have to give go. Tries to lead the pass. I think he was looking for Kecklin. There's lots of people's underneath it. What an incredible play by Kjær. Just stealing through.
She was not afraid. I thought the big bodies would come out with the disc, paying attention to not smash everyone on the way. And Rike Kjær Knudsen getting out of this mosh pit with the disc. That is crazy, but the disc has to go back. A call on the disc. What was the call?
I believe it was a contact on the throw. So saying that Freya Pietersson had the contact on Luke Nuenschwander's throw. So he gets the disc back in that difficult position. Van Oyken able to find Nuenschwander. Nuenschwander back to Van Oyken. And across to Murray. Murray opening up some space, but that disc dropping low. It's going to be difficult in these conditions to finish that play off. You got to put a lot of zip on it. So now the Danes with another opportunity to bring this game to 7-all. That was never going to be an easy catch. So you have Toftiga, Oster, picking up. Will it be a backhand break that he goes for? No, it's just a backhand to the open side instead. And a quick cut across. Uken taking on Toftiger Oster is a great matchup we've been enjoying for an awful lot of this point and game. Jensen tries to arc it around, is able to. Pietersen. Jensen's just juking and jiving, trying to get free, but I think the size of Van Uken, but brilliant break from Pietersen and the score.
Okay, I lost my bet, but I'm really happy I did because this is 7-7, a break for Denmark, which means we're entering the Galaxy Zone. It is Galaxy points, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone. Let's have a show. I love this. We're already having a hell of a show here with so many great highlights already. And now Galaxy point, that couldn't be better.
See, Janssen was able to get it to Pietersen right in front of the end zone. Really great defense from Vajuken, but a better inside break. And for a moment, I thought maybe Chiara had hurt her arm. We've seen her.
I thought so too. She held it like it was injured or whatever. Not sure, just happy, super happy.
And that after a mammoth point, if you're able to get the win, you could understand why you'd be celebrating like that. Bringing it back to sevens, Denmark still need to get this break to get back on serve. So if the Swiss can pop in this offensive hold, they will start the second half on an offensive hold and a chance to push their lead out to 9-7. The wind is at their backs. It has changed its direction somewhat now into a more traditional up-downwind situation. Going from left to right is downwind. So that's the position the Swiss are currently in. I would say it's also gotten a little quieter, probably around 12.5 kilometers an hour right now. So let's see if the Swiss can punch it in. Simon, huge gain all the way down the field, really nicely into the hands of Minder. Thought they were going to huck it, but instead taking the significant under instead. And Minder once again working with Heinzen. They had that great connection earlier on. Heinzen scoops it into the middle of the pitch. And the waiting arms of Rankin. Rankin already has 2 blocks to her name in this game. Can she add an assist? Instead just opting for Heinzen. And Heinzen pointing, saying, this is where I want you to go. These are the cuts I need to see. Instead just takes the easy open side option. Beans. Heinzen makes the cut down the line for the score, and the offensive hold flawless. Swiss take half 8-7.
And that last upline run from Heinzen for the score. And this is the half. Switzerland is keeping their advantage and starting on offense. I'm sure the coach is really happy about this. Scary to see the Danish come back a little bit, but no worries, Switzerland has it. No worries for the coach, I'm talking, obviously. Danish dynamite flag, like this.
As you can see, they're just trying to keep their spirits high. This team has some international experience, but a good measure of their players with none. And just a classic fundamental up the line cut around the outstretched hand of Boris Mondet. And that was one piece of treasure that Pirate could not plunder, as the Swiss are able to knock in the score and take the lead 8-7. Well measured throw to Heinzen from Beans. So 8-7, the Swiss in the lead, and they will be coming out to start the second half on offense in this critical power pool matchup here at EUC 2023.
We are Hive Ultimate, a group of players and coaches from all over the world working together to progress the next generation of Ultimate strategy. We've helped top teams win world championships and new teams introduce the sport in a fun and inclusive way. Search for Hive Ultimate on YouTube to learn more about our cutting-edge strategies and to see analysis of world-class teams. To find out what Hive can do for your team, head over to our Patreon page where you can gain access to our exclusive drills and session plans and to join our worldwide community of coaches. Get ahead of the curve with Hive Ultimate.
Yes, he will.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with ULTI.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and
fund
our
work to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
Welcome back, everybody, to this action here in the power pool stages of the mixed division at EUC 2023. I am Lorcan Murray, and I'm joined by the incredible, objective Swiss Charlotte Terrason. Tell me, Charlotte, what have you made of this game so far?
I really enjoyed that game. We had so many highlights. It was so beautiful to watch. A lot of layouts from the Danish side, a lot of them getting defenses or just getting their discs that to keep them in possession, whatever. Lots of flying bodies. Really enjoyed providing us a lot of highlights. And on the Swiss side also big shots, big actions. I mean, we've seen of everything.
There has been an awful lot of action. There's only 27 minutes left to go in the game clock as we come back from half. But these two teams have been battling it out. The wind has picked up at times and been influential. You've seen a couple of those throws. People were trying to send it further down the field, trying to complete swings, and instead discs just going to ground. You also saw Heinzen put an absolute peach straight into the storm that was collected by Minda. So it's a little from column A, a little from column B right now as teams trying to go to war with nature herself.
We have a nice view of the fields. We see the stadium that is now used also for some of our championship games. And our Media City tent in the middle of both stream pitches. And the disc is in.
So Murray collects Van Eycken. Van Eycken goes to the pop over the top, Neunsvander. And Kjar goes down. We've seen her grimace a few times in this game, and we've obviously cheered at some of the spectacular plays she's made as well. So that is a big loss for the Danes. We certainly hope that she will be okay, replaced by Shen. Shem's actually very effective as a cutter in the first half against this Swiss zone. So not the worst trade to have. Worked very well with Christensen. Although I don't think Christensen's out there right now, which is surprising to me. Those blades, or those low flick breaks that she had through the zone was very effective. So Shen coming onto the defensive side. Van Eycken thinks about a scuba. Probably not the best call in these conditions, but I know I wanted it. Neunsvander. Van Eycken ducking and diving to get free. I go with the big arcing pass over the top. Oh! But really great heads-up defensive play out of the deep space. Peter Ganesh jumping through. Rorvang playing in the off-white Danish jersey. That's a special edition you can only get through blood, sweat and tears on the pitch.
Gotta deserve it. And yeah, Garnes with the defense, we see maybe on the replay. Just stepped up when needed. He saw his chance and grabbed it, or tipped it, I'd say, here.
Shen, big grab. That is not an easy play to make. And Toftisch showing just how he's so crucial to this Danish offense. And another big grab there, going all out for each other. They want to tie this match up. as we enter the final quarter. There's the flow across, not forcing too much, just still taking their time. It's just taking a little bit extra to hold on to possession. Throw to the center of the stack and caught by Shen. She came on for Kjær, and she'll carry her team back into this game. 8-8.
That is some dedication, some will, some fighting spirit we have here. And this is a break for Denmark to start the second half and get tied up the score at 8-8. What layouts! They just keep laying out all the time. This is crazy. Maybe they should try to be more precise on their throws as well. But as long as you have people able to lay out like that, I'm happy about this. We're just missing some upside throws, and I will be delighted of this game.
Says we have another look at that initial layout by Toftiger Oster. He thought, well, if I had to do it, it's only fair that someone else has to do it too. And Rohrvang, I mean, has been throwing herself all around. One good layout deserves another. Really great textbook cut as well by Rohrvang.
That's crazy how she really drags her defender with her to just attack on the opposite side in such efficient way. Just lost her defender on the wrong side. I mean, really dragged her to be so that the defender positioned herself on the break side where she's not supposed to be. And we thought even with a cut, like proper, let's say cut, where you plant your feet and go on the opposite side, just like a banana curve, as we call them sometimes, she gets rid of the defense and just attacks with her speed and ends up with a beautiful layout, like to finish off all that stuff. I mean, what a better way.
What I really like is she then made that same cut again in front of the end zone, but this time it pulled the entire defense over, allowing that pass to Shen. At the front of stack, the Swiss wasting no time. They're launching one straight away, all the way down the field for the comfortable clap catch. One shot, one score. Minder collects, and the 9-8 lead goes to Switzerland.
One shot, one score. I love that. I mean, that's exactly what I'm saying. They have their own way of playing. We haven't seen so many layouts from the Swiss side, but on the other hand, look at these diamond shots. It's perfectly put that the receiver doesn't even need to jump or lay out. It's just in their hands.
It is Swiss precision at its finest, tuned like a watch, as we're going to have another look ourselves. Pulls it across. Simon just steps into it. Low release to the big man far downfield. Another great cut and collection by Minder. They made that look pretty easy.
That looked easy, and that is what amazing, because when you make it look easy, that's when you're like really doing well.
I think that was Minder's third goal of the game as well. He had that huge grab going upwind. So a reliable deep target for them, and someone that the Danes will really have to keep their eye on and try and shut down as we enter the closing exchanges of this match.
Yeah, I mean, they're always getting free, and a favorite target for some of his teammates, I guess, because they don't look to be hesitating to throw. And I get it. I mean, the man is free, so why wouldn't you?
So here come the Danes. Can they be as efficient? Opened the half with a break. Now they've got a chance for the offensive hold. Not going with a deep shot immediately anyway, Peterson. Reloads. I thought the deep shot was going to come that time. But don't want to force anything. So Janssen centers the middle. Rohrvang now has the cut from Peterson. Goes back to Janssen and receives it. And that's a good clear out to create the space as they to complete the swing. The timing was just ever so slightly off. Toftiger trying to get it back to Janssen. Big pressure. And the high floating pass, but Rohrvang able to just stand there. That's probably the easiest catch he's made all game. Nice bit of give go. The Danes working well together. Close to every player on the pitch has touched it now. Center back. Toftiger Oster. Müller. Müller gets it to Janssen. Back to Müller. Toftiger. Almost seem to be going for a handler weave between the three of them. Toftiger turning down the backhand break and then getting a little bit of a bump from Patrick Minder. So they're going to call a foul. Have a conversation about who initiated that contact. I don't know if it's a consequence of just how tall Minder is, but that looked like a straddle.
Yeah. I think his marking was too close to the Danish player, but then that's always a discussion. Like, you're too close, but if the person on offense doesn't hold distance, this space or whatever, and bumps into you, is it the defense or the offense?
I think that's a defensive foul still, because like you're inviting the foul with your position.
Get out of my property!
This space is mine, Pietersen. Backhand break to Roorvang. Roorvang looks to pop it in. Toftiger's just outside. And then the offhand backhand goes to ground. So trying to force it perhaps at that last second. Could have done with it one last recycle. Now the Swiss, disc in hand, on their own end zone line.
A bit rushed decision. So close to the end zone.
That was an amazing flick break. And I really thought it got Heinzen into the kind of power position he likes to shoot from. Holsters it for now, Vraken. Heinzen, maybe stealing an extra step there with his slowdown. Across to Simon. We know Simon isn't afraid of boosting it either. Stop getting my hopes up, Switzerland, as Franklin has to chase that one down. They lose a lot of yards. Can't get the quick reset back either.
They lose yards, but not the disc at least.
That is the crucial part. Heinzen. They're taking their time against this Danish zone. Heinzen, I like that. Up rushes through the cup. But there was no continuation. Now he has to go for the backhand, scoops it over the top. Franklin had to be brave to take that in. Heinzen wants the pop. That would have been a risky invitation. I don't think it should be accepted. Perhaps these marks getting a bit too close for comfort on both teams. Uncontested. So that's going to reset the clock. Big shot all the way downfield, but once again the deep space is well defended. And Roorvang leading it down the pitch there, going awfully quick. Toftiger centers it back and receives it again. Clear up the line. Again, he turns down the backhand break. He's going to call a timeout. Understandably so. This is a critical moment. 8-9 down. They did not want to give up another break to the Swiss.
And we're giving you some updates also from the other pitches, because we see for now the game Italy-Germany on mixed division. Italy is taking over Germany 12-11 for now, trading points, but they have the advantage, which is really interesting. We have France-Poland trading also 10-10. On our other stream, we have Austria leading 8-5 against Slovakia, Lithuania 14-12 against Finland, and GB already won against Czech Republic 15-2, and the last one will be Ireland and Latvia also trading 13-13.
So plenty of excitement happening all across the mixed division, and plenty of excitement still to come here on ULTI.TV.
Get there. Yes, he will.
Search for Hive Ultimate on YouTube to learn about our cutting-edge strategies and to see analysis of world-class teams. To find out what Hive can do for your team, head over to our Patreon page where you can gain access to our exclusive drills and session plans, and to join our worldwide community of coaches. Get ahead of the curve with Hive Ultimate.
Welcome back. Thank you for joining us. And Charlotte, you had one last piece of crucial information that with respect to this power pool and how it's all playing out. if Hungary beat Belgium and both these teams beat Belgium, then they could both qualify for pre-quarters. But it all remains to be seen, and it doesn't take anything away from how crucial this matchup is right now. The quick pop over the top, Pietersen trying to get in there, but Rankin is more than ready for it. Great knock away block. So that floated too much and gave the opportunity for Rankin to come in and nip it away from Freya Pietersen. And another massive layout. Who got that layout? Even if you were blind, you could probably guess at this point. Let's just see it one more time. In the words of Daft Punk, roar, bang. Some players out here having the games of their lives, and some of them having moments they'd rather forget. Heinzen runs to the disc. Is he going to launch it? He does. There's the flick. It's floating. Opportunity for redemption. Opportunity for glory! Collected by Patrick Minder. They do it again. Heinzen, Minder, upwind and 9.
I guess that was a pretty lucky one for the Swiss, because Tough Tiger Oster had a really good positioning on this one. Really got the best position from my point of view to get the defense, the block, and we see the wind just picked up the disc right enough. Look at this, at this instant exactly, just to fly above the Danish player to get in the hands of Minder again, becoming the top scorer of the Swiss team. And Switzerland with the hold. It's 10 to 8. It is not a hold. I am sorry, this is a break. 10 to 8. Another one on the scoreboard of Switzerland. Already the 4th one of this game.
That's the second time Heinzen has been able to launch a disc into those conditions. The thing that blows my mind the most is the fact that he faked the flick, stepped over to the backhand side where 90% of players are going to take on that shot, and then goes, you know what, actually I'm going to commit to the flick after all. But I mean, it's easy to commit when you've got a partner like Minder to work with. Big collection by the big man, and a significant lead late in this game. 10-8, Switzerland up on Denmark. So now Denmark have to go into the wind themselves. It has died down ever so slightly. Big calls go up as I think they were pretty much expecting Tushin to launch it. He had a great first half, picking up 4 assists. He's been a bit quiet in the latter exchanges of the game. So back out here, we'll see how influential he can be. Tushin again, going every second pass right now. Those flick breaks, critical. Back to Tushin in the middle. Has Monday. Has Carlson. This time he throws it to Bork. The scoop back to Tushin. Is he going to try and lead that pass? He is. He's looking for the end zone in the form of Kramer and finds her for the upwind score. 10-9. The Danes needed that. They needed to be able to come back into this game and show that they are still very much a part of it. And after you concede 2 points late on in a match, that can be the end of it. We are running down almost into our final 10 minutes, so they needed something, and Tushin shows up working with an absolute variety of cutters for the Danes.
Yeah, indeed. Especially after breaks, the O-line really needs to have this clean hold, just, you know, to prove yourself like we're good, we can do it, and keep this confidence that O-line needs, because what a good O-line player needs to be able to do, needs to do is being confident and steady, not taking the pressure, and get these clean holds for the defense then to be fired up and fight under other circumstances and conditions. Yes, Lorcan.
You touched on something interesting there. You said it's important for the O-line to come back out. Oh, doggo! It's important for the O-line to come back out here. The Danes actually don't have an O-line. And talking to their coach, Mads Gottlieb, before the game. You're saying it's because it puts a lot of pressure on the O-line in those kind of situations, where instead they're able to kind of go to their variety of players and have everyone feel that pressure together and help them all work through it. Tushin, of course, a veteran. He played Wook last year with Njord, along with several players on this Danish side, so used to those kind of situations. Bork, another player who has that kind of experience, though not for Njord. Coming to the fore in that one. So let's see if the Swiss can work through this Danish zone again, and instead they throw it immediately into Müller. Nice cut across, gets the block, so Denmark with a chance to tie it up, and walking like a lone gunslinger in the Wild West, ready to pick it up. Jonas Ulrik Toftager Oster. He's been at the base of so much of this Danish offense. Will he go for the backhand break? He's definitely going to fake it at some point. Gets the quick recycle with Peterson. He's just going all the way down the open lane. Rohrvang, is a travel called on Toftager?
I'd say he did change direction before releasing the disc. I mean, you're allowed to keep your steps, but you have to keep your direction unilateral.
So it goes back. Oh no, it doesn't.
It's always hard to tell in these fast give and goes if it's actually a travel or not.
So I think he...
Oh, there's a foul as well.
Van Uycken is foul uncontested on the throw. So for the whole half second that Ostergaard held on to it. And he goes for the backhand break, looking for Rohrvang and Chickel.
I think this is because she didn't lay out.
That's what I was thinking too.
Now she doesn't know how to catch a disc without laying out. I mean, this is too easy, just running.
Wasn't expecting it to be that much in front of her. Is used to it being a little bit further away, perhaps. Not so comfortable with easy catches. Van Uycken, someone who's very comfortable in these high pressure situations. The Danes already got one term of their zone on this point alone. So Van Uycken working with Murray. Those two have been very steady for the Swiss throughout this game. And it has been from them so much of their positive offense has launched. Some of their more conservative offense, shall we say. The D-line opting to fire into the end zone with a bit more frequency. Neuenschwander back to Van Uycken. Van Uycken back into Murray. So just kind of taking their time right now. There's not a huge amount of it left, but they are in the driver's seat, being up by a point. Neuenschwander. Hauser. Van Uycken. Again, lots of passes, no real gain of territory. Hauser goes for the pop over the top, just about escaping Müller's outstretched hand. Murray, Van Uycken. Nice play around the back, but still just on that end zone line. Fellman has come back to help. Neuenschwander. I mean, he winds up, but I don't think anybody believed he was going to let that one go. Murray almost let that one go herself. There's the pop into Hauser, starting to add a bit of urgency with his movement at least. Van Uycken, Neuenschwander, there's Hauser. He drags about 3 Danish defenders with him, but not able to take full advantage of it this time. Fellman to Murray, and almost sneaking through, but doing enough to dissuade the catch. Nissen gets a critical block. I'd give her credit for it.
That was almost a attempt of knee catch. Look at the second chance between her legs. Really tough one, but...
And the throw, trying to find Müller, but instead it's Hauser who's able to get the touch, and he immediately sets off deep. And that looked like a bit of a frustration put. No! Or maybe a bit of inspired genius, but at the end it doesn't work out. Just bouncing out of the clap catch hands of Hauser. You can almost see just thought it was going to hit him in the face.
I mean, I never thought that shot would actually work. It did, but I think that the receiver also didn't think it would really reach him and was not ready to actually catch it.
Hauser was the most surprised of all of us that was coming straight at his chest. So now the Danes again with another chance to go downfield, and a big bid from, I was going to say Feldman, but that was Keklin as they send it deep. Van Oyken is underneath it. He gets position, but goes up too early, and Muller, I think, drawn into that bid when he could have waited. You can see here, Van Oyken goes up, misreads it, and then Muller's behind him. It just kind of spins around his finger. So a few turnovers here as we're entering the final 5 minutes of this game. Van Oyken to Murray. And back, and they're really struggling to make it through the jaws of that zone. Murray. Van Oyken. Across the Neuenschwander. And he rips this one. We didn't believe he'd do it the first time. The second time it's floating. Body's underneath it. And just about enough. I didn't want to call the block. But a block it was in the end. Janssen. Doftiger. Going with the breakthrough. I like that extra move he put in at the end, but by then the stall count had gotten a bit too high for him to continue to be looked at. He gets it now as there's a little bit of contact and Janssen goes down.
And timeout is called as well. I have a hard time to understand the hand signal.
You know, just by virtue of his length, Van Oyken is a really good dump defender. Toftiger sends that all the way across the pitch. Müller resets to Janssen. They want Roorvang, but brilliant work by Murray to jump through, was always on the shoulder, and in the last second steps forward and gets the block. So this is the furthest upfield the Swiss have gotten. And it is thanks to a defensive play. Van Oyken. Murray has the cut to get free in the center of the pitch. And the battle of the 15s is a great one as that's I was praising Van Oyken's dump defense, but Janssen able to get back there too. Staying right next to him.
Teammates worrying if everything's okay. This is just ego injury. Happens to the best of us, but we get it.
All right, Freud. He was Swiss, right? As Janssen sets up and launches one deep. Looking, finding!
And another ego injury happening?
Toftiger.
It is! No, he is okay.
Perhaps a super
Before
ego injury?
joking, I want to make sure that they're okay. And yeah, but what a bid. Trying to lay it with both hands to get a grab.
But it seemed to be a ground strip in the end. So now the Swiss going back onto offense. Hauser, Neuenschwander, Van Oyken. Van Oyken winds up, lifts Janssen off his feet, but doesn't send it deep. Tireless work downfield by Schemp, but currently being pretty effectively shut down. Van Oyken looking for Feldman, launches over the two of them, finds Schemp on the far sideline. Schemp sends it down the line. So still taking their time, and that's a lot of yards to give up on the dump pass by Keklin. It's back with Schemp. Neuenwander marked tightly by Müller. That was never going to be a safe option. Van Oyken wants, he's getting face marked, so he wants the blind pass over the defender. Van Oyken tries to lash one deep. That could be perfect. Muller's measuring it, but can't get there, and neither can Neuenschwander. There's been a lot of those on this point. So we enter the final 30 seconds. So you gotta imagine time's gonna go, and this game will be either to 12 or potentially to 11. I mean, if the Danes score this, we're going to Universe.
Oh, that would be the best. I mean, always up for Universe points. What else?
Is that Müller who had to come off? Yes, Müller came off. Tushin has come on. Oh no, I don't think that is actually Tushin. That might be Biro. I think that is Biro. Coming on for Müller. So Toftiger going to pick it up. Between him and Rohrvang, they're currently coming up with a new trim for that Danish jersey. Janssen lifting Van Oyken. And that's going to be a debatable one. Van Oyken has those invasive arms. They're so long.
They're huge. I mean, if you put such a big body in the cup, oh yeah. You put if you have a zone, it's really good to have these big bodies who just cover everything. You cannot even see the field when they're marking you, like a fortress in front of you.
As a vertically challenged person myself, I've spent my fair share of time with the disc in hand, staring straight into somebody's nipples, wondering, they might be free on the other side. Janssen gets it back. That's going to be a strip. And goes with the break into the middle of the pitch. Biro. Gets it back to Toftiger. Toftiger goes to the big one, and that's going to roll all the way along and down the pitch. That never got out the way he wanted it to.
Oh, that is way out on the other side.
I mean, it's not the worst defensive play, I suppose, you know? It's going to be a front corner pickup for Neuenschwander, and the Swiss have really struggled against the Danes to move it on this point. They had two great deep chances that I gotta say were dropped as a result of receiver error. But outside of that, no significant gains. And it seems like there's going to be a call for a timeout, understandably so, as we are into the time cap of the game. So if the Danes score, we go to Universe. If the Swiss score, it will be a game to 12.
Search for Hive Ultimate on YouTube to learn about our cutting-edge strategies and to see analysis of world-class teams. To find out what Hive can do for your team, head over to our Patreon page where you can gain access to our exclusive drills and session plans and to join our worldwide community of coaches. Get ahead of the curve with Hive Ultimate.
Welcome back, everybody, to this critical moment of this very important game that's happening in the power pools. But do you have some updates from the rest of the games happening in the power pools for us, Charlotte?
We do. So France did a comeback and now it's trading again. Tied game 13-13 France-Poland. On the other pitch we still have Austria-Slovakia going on if you want to also have a look with the other stream. And very excited, it's still tied game Germany-Italy, trading points I mean, and it's Italy leading 13-12 for now. And also affecting this game here, the results for these teams, Hungary is winning over Belgium 14-12. Let's see what the final results of all these scores will be. But this is very exciting, a lot of tight games, and let's see what's going to happen now here on our pitch.
Switzerland beat Hungary 15-11 earlier today, so a win here would see them go to the top of the power pool and all but secure a place in the pre-quarter. But Van Eycken trying to set up the deep shot, looking for Neuenschwander, finds him this time, and now the Swiss might be off to the races. Fellman giving it back to Neuenschwander. Neuenschwander doesn't want the deep shot down to Kecklin, sorry. Gets it to Van. So Van Eycken break it. Van Eycken pops it to Fellman, gets it back almost immediately. No real cuts into that open space yet. And finally one appears for him in the form of Hannah Murray, normally in the handling position herself. Fellman makes a cut, can't escape Roervang, and you know if Roervang's on your shoulder, she'll take flight at the moment's opportunity. So I like the fact that they didn't go with that throw. Housier overthrows his initial attempt, but again, Schemp cleaning up, and that's something we've seen time and again by both these teams. You've got to be there for your teammates, you've got to help out and clean up. Housier gets free, back to Van Eycken. Van Eycken can't get the break off initially, so Fellman. So she continues into the dump space as Roervang tries to poach off. Nice use of the poach to get to the break side. Schemp sees a cut initially, doesn't force it to Kecklin. Instead goes to the blade over the top. Massive bid. For a moment, it seemed like Neuenschwander was suspended in time. But ultimately the disc doesn't hang with him and hits the dirt.
I think this game will last a long time still, because we are already plus 6 minutes into additional time, knowing that they need to finish this score before this point, before knowing what the score needs to be to win.
And Denmark with an unfortunate turnover at the brick mark. Van Eycken, Housier, back to Van Eycken, swings it across. Kecklin. Neuenschwander is juking and diving, trying to get free, but unable to. Smooth Hireley's backhand to Housier, but bounces it off the chest of Van Eycken. Maybe a bit of fatigue starting to set in. These players have been out here for a long time, even with the timeout. They want one look. Janssen just wants to send it. Toftiger makes the cut and makes the catch under intense pressure from Housier. He's right outside the end zone. If they can pop it in, we're going to Universe. Somebody, somewhere, give that man some assistance. And he's eventually able to get the dump back to Biro. So the clock resets. Biro tries to float a flick break and collected by Janssen on the opposite side. 10-10.
This is the Universe. We had the Galaxy at first, and we get a Universe. Oh my God, these catches. That was crazy. And this pass to no one, just in this free space, and Danish players coming to save, get that score for the Universe point, ladies and gentlemen. We are getting into Universe points.
Tobias Janssen. Ilsu cleaning it up. And again, the break. Let's just have another look at this grab. We've seen Toftiger be so good for the Danes in the handling position. And that time, we didn't see the setup where it was just like, I'm sick of this point. For how long has it been going on? I'm just going deep. For the love of God, Janssen, send it to me. Eventually they get the dump back to Biro, and Biro takes this flick break on. Gotta assume he was looking for Roervang, but cleaned up by Janssen on the other side. Excellent stuff.
That was so good. Amazing way to score that final point before the Universe point. This is exciting. So many tight games. It is so good. And as we're talking, Hungary just won over Belgium 15-13. So the outcome of this game might not impact as much as they thought at first.
Well, that effectively makes this game a game for first place, as right now nobody has 2 wins in that power pool. Both of these teams have 1 win. The Swiss's win came 15-11 over Hungary, whereas Denmark's win came 15-11 over Norway. Belgium also beat Norway. So with that win by Hungary, who had gone winless so far in this tournament, over Belgium, every team, unfortunately except Norway, has 1 win in the pool. So whoever comes out on top in this Universe point matchup will take the top spot of the power pool. And the top 2 positions, Doggo, in the power pool will be the ones who go through to the pre-quarter. So all to play for, and just takes a little bit pressure off perhaps their later matchups with Belgium and with Hungary, who you have to respect as well.
And on the other pool, but because I think this is surprising but really cool, Italy is still leading over Germany 14-12, while Poland and France are still trading 14-14.
So another universe point game happening elsewhere.
Oh, yes.
As we have a look at the people Switzerland are trusting with this final O-line. And one of the standouts, I mean, he stands out in most places at that height, but Patrick Minder has had 4 goals so far in this game. The disc floating down into the hands of Beans. And Simon, he wants the deep shot immediately to, and it doesn't work out. I mean, you can understand the deep shot to Minder's been effective plenty of times in this game so far.
I mean, he's an amazing target for sure, Minder, but you still need to throw the disc a bit higher if you want to reuse his height and skills.
A little bit higher and a little bit less directly into Biro, as Shen tries to get that back as hard as she can to Tushin. Tushin with the quick pass, and we're starting to see the Danes get a bit of flow. They're going up against a match defense, and Shen so good at getting free downfield and then not making a mistake with the disc. There's going to be a call. Tushin is being called for a foul by Beans. Beans is saying you're using your body a bit too aggressively to make your way past me. As we have a look, yeah, that's an offensive foul called to that. So it's coming back in on 3, so it wasn't contested. Or I suppose it might have been, but it doesn't affect the stall count. Shen needs help somewhere, finds it. Going up the line in the form of Kiar. Great to see Kiar back out there. Remember, she got that goal earlier on and went down clutching her hand.
So let's have a replay and see what happened.
Just a moment for quiet contemplation. There's a few people. I can see the Danish coach, a couple of Swiss players just having a little sconce at the contact. I mean, maybe we don't have some fans of Olivia Newton-John out there on the pitch, but things, regardless, are getting physical. Shen.
I think Riga, to get free, uses this tactic of attacking, going towards the defensive player and then in the direction you want to cut. Some players don't like this, feel it contactful. Oh!
Akir somehow holds on to that one. Gavile immediately staying within the space to get the stall count on. There's a quick dump set, reset back to Kjær. The cut up the line by Carlson. Tushin. That was an ever so slight break, just enough to get it into a bit more space. Anderson back to Tushin. Tushin is knocking on the door. Who's going to answer? Anderson. Back to Tushin. They're waiting for somebody to attack that front space. It's an isolation on Anderson initially. He tries to lead. Huge bit! What a grab!
Oh my God!
Somehow they do it! It would have taken something spectacular, and that's exactly what we've got.
I mean, it's not a surprise to finish this game with a layout. I mean, Danish players have been providing us so many layouts, and it's so good to see Rike Kjær-Knudsen finishing this universe point after leaving the field for an injury. She is back and on fire with this crazy layout for the score on the universe point. Danish coming back from a long journey where Switzerland was leading the whole game, and just at the end we see 2 breaks in a row, 3 points in a row to win this game. What a comeback from Denmark. Amazing.
When you need your leaders most, that's when they are defined. As you see, Anderson gets the pop, Tushin, but it's all about Kjær. We've seen her make incredible bids all game long. And then even at one point, perhaps we were worried because she had to go off injured. But why would you ever be afraid when you've got talent like that in your corner? An incredible play here at Euros, and Denmark deserved to go top of the power pool after that fantastic 3-point run and comeback. Let's have another look.
This is so good. I could watch this all day. Amazing layout. That was so close to the ground. What a beautiful horizontal jump. Look at the happy Rike, and she can be happy. We're gonna have a talk with this Amazing player, layout scorer.
So we don't have too much time, as we only have about 6 minutes until the game gets started again. So thank you so much for joining us. And I suppose I have just one question, which is, what was that?
Yeah, I actually don't know. I think I had like 6 points out and almost half an hour because I twisted my ankle, and then I was just told, can you play this universe point? And I said yes, and then it's just better grind it out. And like I could see it all the way just hanging there, and then I was just, yeah, I need to give it a bit at least.
Well, at most.
And then I think I actually promised Steph to make some cool thing on the stream. So
So I imagine that's a moment that's going to live for a very long time in your memory, and definitely on our YouTube page as well. An incredible game. Thank you so much for everything you've just provided us with, and all the fans at home, and for joining us here in the booth. I don't want to take you away from what I imagine will be a very positive and emotional huddle right now.
Just thank you for streaming and having us here. Thank you.
Well, with plays like that and games like those, it is our absolute pleasure. Thank you very much. As you can see there, Kiara twisting her ankle and did go off. It did seem like a big loss. So coming back on in the critical moment, universe point. Incredible stuff by the Danes. We are going to have to get out of here pretty quick so the next game can get started. Thank you so much for joining us. On behalf of myself, Lorca Murray, on behalf of Charlotte Terrasson, the entire ULTI.TV crew, and of course the Limerick Regional Hospital, in which I will be shortly checking in for heart palpitations. Thanks, and we will catch you next time.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, Ultimate.
ULTI.TV.
Even in disco lights, I still feel every lie. Wish I could hurt you too. Baby, you know I'm not getting over. Baby, you know I'm not getting over. Drama. Hey, I'm starring in this drama.